Switch the ramble. Personal space.
I thought you wanted to potentially finish up on the driving you were talking about.
Oh, whatever.
If not, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. I would just say, if you're on the road, be courteous. If you can get over. Let people that are behind you go faster.
Yeah, like on that, returning to that, like if all 3 lanes are taken up by like
everyone going the same fucking speed.
3 cars, or like a semi and 2 cars, or whatever. Like one of you can drop. Like seriously, just drop your speed and then get over. Like,
or for the next quarter mile, if that, speed up 5, get over, so the person behind you can go through. Like, and then go. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
It almost seems vindictive when people do that. Like it's just like, no, I refuse to speed up or slow down.
Break the law.
Like, yeah, it's driving is awful, and I actually am fine bringing this up right now because Ramble Entertainment. I cannot help but wonder if decades or centuries from now we might actually look back and say Henry Ford created one of the worst inventions known to mankind.
He was a monster.
And the reason for this, and it's not like he was a hilarious. You're so funny, Mark. Love you. It would be one of those things where it's just like we now have to be very aware of these, like inventions that we take on, because it's just like. Think about how much pollution this one dude's invention has caused over.
Or how many people he's killed.
Yeah, like people really neglect that driving is the riskiest thing most people do every single day. And that's not like, oh, well, most people don't do risky things. No, it's fucking risky as hell. Like, RNG is against you.
Yeah, that's like, comparing, if you're looking at travel modes like flying or...
Flying is safer.
Well, flying is much safer. I mean, like every now and then you'll run across something that says like you're more likely to get struck by lightning 7 times than get in an airplane accident. Whereas driving, you're more likely to get in a car accident than you are to get struck by lightning once. So I mean, it's just like odds.
It's in fact, I believe cyclists are still safer than most driving. And like these are people who like have cars going around them all the time. It's God, I hate driving.
Let's
anyway,
let's hope we start teleporting soon.
God, I hope. Well, so we were going to talk about Musk a bit, and then we just both forgot to do more reading about him, and. One of the things I am looking forward to, one of his entrepreneurial endeavors is basically a vacuum tube. Kind of. Yeah, so you've heard about this, between San Fran and L.A. And they want to prove that, like, we don't need planes anymore, and this is going to be more efficient and safer and the better way to travel. And they're basically going to create a vacuum tube and shoot this... basically like a rail
frictionless bus.
like a rail car, frictionless travel, and they're going to shoot it along this tube, and it'll basically be like I think they said like 40 minutes to a half hour to get between cities, these two major cities. Hyperloop. That's it. Don't look things up on your computer while we're recording.
I didn't. That actually just popped in my head.
Fantastic.
Oh no, I'm learning.
So we're in the second half of the video. I'll go ahead and do a quick, kind of thing again for anybody watching. We're splitting our episodes up more because of audio issues. Audio has been desyncing over the course of these long recordings, even 35 to 40-minute recordings, which were our shorter ones. And so, we're going to be doing segments, Ramble, Part 1, Part 2, Topic, Part 1, Part 2, and this is Part 2 of the Ramble for Episode 12. So,
and at the end of Part 1, I experienced a power surge, which
that was fun.
Was a, good time to cut everything off.
Indeed it was. Good timing, Mark. Yeah, you had that nice power surge timing. So,
yes. Yeah.
All right. So, personal space.
This one's yours. You want to start off, or
yes? But I kind of took yours, so I wasn't sure if you really wanted.
The thing I'm thinking of personal space. You watch Seinfeld, right? I probably asked you this a dozen
yes,
times.
but I am not one of those who's like, Seinfeld is untouchable. I mean, it's totally dated, in my opinion.
There's there's an episode where Elaine's dating a close talker, where basically he will talk to people just like in their face.
I do remember that episode. Well, yeah, that was the thing I was going to do. I was going to be like, come here, let's come on. So, dude, I was totally just like, you know, she was just totally into me, you know, just like, and you know, like the person's like, no, I hear you, I get it, you know, like hands against the chest, just like trying to prevent.
So I've actually had a few people that like they don't get like not comically close, but like close enough for like.
Yeah, like that happened
right
a lot
next to him.
college.
Like, I need like another 6 inches here, man.
That happened.
Give me that 6 inches.
That happened a lot in college, especially with like classmates. You know, like you'd be put into a group to discuss or to ruminate or what have you, and you know there'd be that person. You know, especially if you weren't in desks or at tables or whatnot, who would just want to get really close and it'd just be like. Stop!
You're invading me.
And I feel like the same thing happens with cars. And this is what I was alluding towards in the prior ramble. It's just like I have actually sincerely been thinking about legal mechanisms that you can deploy from the rear of your car to be like, hey, fucking stop riding my ass. Like, I was just like, well, can we shoot ink into their window? No, because that's actually a hazard.
Like just an LED bar you put at the top of your car, and like you can type in a note that says "back the fuck off."
Can we deploy a light machine gun? No, that's somewhat dangerous. But like, man, especially with driving, personal space, like. People just don't get it. And, so the other side of this, not just space that I want to fit the slash and property in there, is personal property.
There it is.
And it's just like, so being completely open. My dad, I in my old car, I kept this old raggedy blanket. It didn't used to be raggedy, but I don't like.
Was it your jizz rag?
No. Thank you for just being every American dude out there.
Personified in me.
Yeah. Man, you are just on that today, aren't you? Yeah. American culture.
Oh yeah, I was pretty douchey earlier today. After disc golfing, I was wearing a bro tank in my backward set, and I went to the mall. I was like, I am getting some looks. It smelled like shit.
Oh man, oh Jesus.
It's good.
I would not have been around you if that's how you wanted to go.
I'm pretty sure I was leaving a trail of just nothingness behind because people were like, get the fuck away from this guy. So anyways, go ahead.
So what happened was, cleaning out the old car. This stuff was in the back in the compartment. Like some SUVs have that compartment that you could put your groceries in and they won't move anywhere. Things like that. And it pulled out the old blanket and. I had followed his advice and, had a winter prep kit. If your car breaks down, you're stuck in the snow, have a blanket to keep warm and all that bullshit.
Very reasonable.
And, this thing was old and worn out, but I found a use for it. I was just like, okay, I can, put this back there and, yeah, if something ever happens, at least I have it. And he wound up throwing it out. I get it. It had holes in it. But it was mine. I can get it, the person who is busy and just, wants to get things done. But for the person who isn't, who does not have a lot of control over their life, personal things are actually very important. And even if I would have thrown that out, in someone's mind, 100% or 99%, they're just going to throw it out. Still not your decision. it is the owner's decision, and you are stepping on their toes by, like taking away that control over their own property. So that was the side of it I wanted.
Yeah, no, that I would completely agree with that. I mean, not to mention, it's possible such a blanket could have, or any kind of personal property that could seem meaningless to anybody, might hold some sort of sentimental value to the owner. You never know. So yeah, no, I agree with that. I can't say I've really experienced that 'cause my dad is like a hoarder, for lack of better words. For example, it's like I had these like 2 old pillows that like I ended up replacing, and they're just sitting on my floor. I texted my mom, I was like, "Should I get rid of these?" She's like, "What'd you use them for?" And I was like, "Well, if I ever get a 2-bedroom place, could use them for that, but a pillow's like $5, not a big deal." Yeah. And she's like, "Well, I would say you throw them away, but your dad says keep them." I'm like, my God, like I've had like if that was my dad, like all my like old shoes with holes, and it was like, well, you never know, you keep it for whatever reason, but. Yeah, I don't know. I guess 'cause I've been on my own for a very long time, so I guess like I don't really. Well, even when I had roommates, I felt like my boundaries always seemed to be pretty well maintained.
No,
which is good.
Not with mine, but I learned way too late in the process of having roommates that like I just shouldn't have had them, because it is so easy to conflict with someone even if you've been friends for a long time. It's just like, this is the way I live. Well, this is the way I live. And like things just naturally spark. But like another one is also just like the way people talk, and I even did this when I came home from college, not knowing, who I was talking to or, what I was talking about, because in the city there was a lot more, I guess, free-spirited or liberal conversation where it was just like you would just share things like we would. But, like with family or with people who live in the suburbs, it's just like there are things you just don't share.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in certain situations like that, you can't really be like, how do you feel about the abortion and weed issue? Yeah, you might get some looks if you're in the burbs.
Yeah, and like sex as a part of conversation just being, like a major thing with that. And I feel like
I don't talk about like.
Huh?
I usually don't like talk about it. Like, I'm trying to, I've known a lot of people that are like close to their parents or like especially parents, and like they'll know everything about their lives. I'm like, I'm uncomfortable talking about having dates with my parents. Well, also because they ask 1,000 questions. But I don't know. Like, I'm a relatively private person. If someone asks, I'll be more than willing to say, I'm sharing with you. Like, I trust you enough to do this. But I'm not going to just blurt out parts of my private life that aren't meant to be up in arms. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, for me, like, sex is never a topic that is just discussable. I mean, like, it kind of seemed like that in college, but, being more adult-like, you learn that it's just like, this should always be kept in check. Like, if it's a natural part of the conversation that you're having, like this is, like you're talking about your relationship, and it's just like, you don't know the person. It's just like, by the way, we're talking about my relationship. Do you mind if I bring up, the thing?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to talk about relationships, I think it's going to be said. Like when I went on vacation with 2 of my buddies, well, they're not watching, James and Dan, they're talking about their relationships, and sex came up because that's what you do in a relationship, and especially if you're in a troubled relationship, and you try to weigh out your
if you know the person and they're comfortable with it, it's like exactly. You absolutely go with it. But even if you know them and you've had conversation about it before, like, I don't know, I personally feel like I'm always still going to be like, kind of feel out the atmosphere, like with you. It's just like, if I'm going to talk about that with you, any facet of that, it's just going to be like, is now the time? We were just talking about pastries. Yes, now's the time.
I feel like part of it is also like you have to ask yourself, does this person care, and in which what tone should I have with this? Like, let's say hypothetically, if I were to date somebody, and if we like, it's all hypothetical because I'm not dating anybody, so I'm going to stop saying hypothetically now. And if we were to have sex, then I would kind of want to keep that private for a minute because I feel like that's an intimate thing between just me and whoever I'm with. And that if you were to ask me though, I'd be like, yeah, that happened, but I'm not going to call you up like the next one's like, dude, guess what I just did?
Yeah,
because that's elementary, man. Like
I've never personally been comfortable with that, and like this has come up on occasion where like there would be someone who'd be like, dude, she gave me a blowjob, and I'd be like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
care.
I don't want to hear
Did you
that.
orgasm? No.
Yeah, like
why do I care?
Yeah, it's just like there. Like I said, back in college, there was a loss of boundary for me, but it was never like some other people seem to have, where it's just like, again, it was almost like a conversation with a coworker where it was just like, and yeah, she gave me a blowjob, and it's just like, really, I didn't know,
yeah.
Oh,
just somewhere out of left field, you're like, where the fuck did that come from? Who cares?
Yeah, it's just like there definitely needs to be more of a sense of boundary amongst people as of late. Whether it's in the anonymity of the internet or just in personal life, and again, part of that even returns to driving, where it's just like, have some boundary. Like that thing you're driving, you're attempting to drive into the rear end of my car, is probably important to your lifestyle, and you should probably try to, maintain that better than you are at the moment.
Yeah. I've been thinking, because we're talking about this transportation, like the Hyperloop thing, relating that to like what's conducted on an airplane. Like, you're not going to just go like, hey, dude, he's got a blowjob last night. You're not going to fucking care. Like, respect their boundaries.
It's across the aisle, and there's like three people who are like,
hey,
this guy's a terrorist.
You can't say that on public transportation.
And then the marshal comes up, kills you, detains him.
But it's okay, he got a blowjob last night.
But it's totally okay. In fact, this U.S. Marshal's about to give him a blowjob, too. Dude, he's coming out in cuffs. He's just like, dude, I totally just gave that U.S. Marshal a blowjob back there.
That I might be okay with someone telling me, because like, what the fuck just happened there? You're in cuffs and you're a guy and you gave a U.S. Marshal a blowjob. Like,
there's something all over your face.
There's a story.
Hold on, I got this. Hold on. Speaking of, facial.
Is that snot in your beard?
Anyway, so that went downhill fast.
Pretty quickly.
Let's go ahead and get into the hype train to wrap up this second half of the ramble.
Debauchery.
This episode 12.
Well, you know what? For being episode 12, I'd expect nothing less than just debauchery.
Isn't it supposed to be debauchery?
I thought it was debauchery.
I'm concerned for you. Do we need to see a doctor?
If it's debauchery or debauchery,
debauch.
I guess
debauchery.
Yeah, that makes sense because like you botched something.
No, it's not spelled like that.
Huh.
Look up a pronunciation between segments.
But now I'm thinking of like Bach the composer and just being like, this is a bunch of debauchery.
That's not. I mean, that's how it's spelled, but that's not what it is. Oh my god! I am so hyped for this episode to be over.
12.
Anyway, so I got nothing. And we're going to be getting into this with the topic.
I got something.
Yeah, that's fine. Nobody cares.
I got a blowjob.
Are you serious?
No, I didn't.
I don't think
No.
I was going to say, this time I might actually seriously end the episode and never come back.
No, it happened in my life.
E3 is this week, but so this is a year that I think has a lot going into it. There's going to be a lot of good games, period. Like, that's undeniable. There's going to be a lot showed. That VR is definitely should have a presence. I'm not excited for it because I also have this feeling that there's going to be a lot of debauches.
Debauchery.
Oh, those botches.
You need to look up that pronunciation soon.
God damn it.
But started watching Peaky Blinders.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, that is true.
I'm on episode 5. I probably could have watched it all today, watched the rest of it today.
In fact, I think there's only one episode left for you.
Yeah, I gotta watch 5 yet. Haven't watched it yet.
That should be our topic next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I'm excited about it 'cause it's a good show. I do feel like I need to rewatch again, like just from one, just kind of refamiliarize myself with everything because, I feel like being 6 episodes, it's hard to get some shit really kind of ingrained into your brain. So,
but I also feel like that format, and God love Netflix because they are they are a reason that format can now exist.
They're pioneers in it.
This
for sure.
This kind of short form TV series, whereas TV could not accomplish that. And 6 episodes, there's no dicking around. Everything is pertinent. Every single detail. And I've watched, I think, seasons 1 and 2 3 times, and
really?
yeah, like every single detail. I cannot. I'm excited for the 3rd season, but not to break your role with
right. No, I feel like we
Blinders.
should not say too much about this until next week too. So,
I would share my excitement for rewatching Dragon Ball Z with you, but I know you never were an anime fan or even watched that show.
Sorry.
So I talked about that with Reed on Outside the Game. So I've been enjoying the shit out of that, and there are things I want to say I'm hyped for. Jen and I played some Minecraft today, and that felt great. But was it just a brief instance? Am I going to return to it tonight or tomorrow and be like, never mind, and just come back to it later or something? Doom is going to be arriving this week at some point through Gamefly. Man, I can't wait for that. But really? I haven't actually, played it, so it's like I might play it and find, after the first 8 hours, I might not want to do hour 9 and 10 to complete the game because I know it's a lot of the same, but maybe all 10 of those hours will be fucking glorious, which I think they will be.
Did it get good reviews?
Phenomenal.
Really? That's good.
For
only
for
been
the
like
campaign.
20 years in the making.
Yeah, well, like, people say that, but it's just like,
yeah, it's not like
it took 4 years,
right?
To make that actual game. Like the same thing is
highly anticipated for a very long time.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy X was announced 10 years ago. That doesn't mean it has actually been in development for 10 years.
Right.
No, in total, it was probably in development for 5 to 6, which is nowhere near 10. So it's just like I want people to start being a bit more honest with themselves in such analyses, because it's all it's one of those things that's all over the internet. It's just like, well, Duke Nukem, was like it was in development for like 60 years, and it's just like, yeah, because that shitty game took 60 years to produce. Sure, right? Yep.
A fruit fly that's flying around here.
Tell it to fuck off. So. Not much more for me on Hype Train than that.
No, I think that's I guess now's a good time because I'm hyped about it. Is next week we will not be recording, or Monday. Because I will be going to Charlotte this week. Monday.
Yes.
Charlotte, which I'm excited about. I enjoy going to see other cities, as we talked about. I think it was the previous recording about traveling.
Yeah, but, you thought it was going to be this weekend, and you're stupid.
Yeah, my brain's debauchery.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
Excited about that. Excited about Peaky Blinders.
I'm pumped for it. It's just we'll get into it in the topic.
We will.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Bye. This was the Ramble, guys. For those of you watching who can't read. We'll be back in the topic. Man, this episode 12 was not epic. That's all we're gonna go down for.